Students, now we shall do the second part of this lesson. So till now we saw why Shivaji Maharaj was called an ideal ruler with all the various factors. Okay, now let us further learn about much more reasons why Shivaji Maharaj was known as an ideal ruler. Okay. Let's look at another example why Shivaji Maharaj is called an ideal ruler. Okay, policy regarding the army. Now Maharaj maintained a strict discipline in the army. He was particular about paying the salaries of the army in time. He made arrangements to pay the salaries of soldiers in cash. In various kingdoms in medieval India and elsewhere, there was a system of making payments to soldiers in the form of jahagirs. Maharaj set this practice aside. There was a strict order to the army that any valuables collected during the campaign in enemy territories were to be deposited with the government. Soldiers were honored for their bravery in the campaign. He looked after the maintenance of the families of soldiers who died in battlefield. He took care of the wounded soldiers. He treated well the enemy soldiers who had surrendered themselves or who had been captured. Okay, now what do you see here? Policies regarding army. Shivaji had a systematic policy system even for the army, military troop around over here. They had a strict discipline to be followed. Okay, it was very maintained. He maintained a very strict discipline for the army. He was particular about paying them, paying the salary of the soldiers on time. It will never be delayed because they are sacrificing their life for the kingdom. That is why, look how important Shivaji felt of paying the salary of the soldiers on time. Now, in the medieval period, in the ancient period of time, ancient India, you had kingdoms, which used to give soldiers salary in the form of jahagir. If they performed well, jahagir would be given to them. Jahagir means land. Now Shivaji kept this aside. Okay, now what will happen? Now suppose if I give you land, you will be behind that land, cultivating land, making more crops, so your attention would be diverted. So Shivaji kept aside the pattern of given jahagir and he only gave them salaries. Now those soldiers who were performed very well during any of the campaign, any of the fight or any of the campaign over there to capture the territory when they went around, those soldiers would be rewarded too. Okay. Now, one more thing very important over here is Maharaj said there was a strict order. Now, what was the strict order to the army that when you attack an enemy country, okay, so what will happen? You will take all the gold, silver, money, and all the everything whatever valuables are collected during the campaign. When we go to attack a country, kingdom over there, and that kingdom has been defeated. So what happened? You can take whatever goods you want from that campaign, no? So all those goods, whatever the soldiers have collected, everything have to be come and deposited to the government. Means everything has to be given to the government. Whatever comes in the hand, they will take. Okay. Now, second thing around over here was he looked after the maintenance of the families of those soldiers who lost their life in the battlefield. Okay, everybody had to come and give all that they collected in the war and keep it and put it back, give it to the government. Okay, now one more thing, he saw to it that any soldier in the campaign or in the battlefield or in the war, died or was injured. Okay, Shivaji Maharaj saw to it that the family was being well taken care of. Okay, wounded. He took care of the wounded soldiers also. In the wounded Swaraj soldiers also he took care, as well as he treated the enemy soldiers also very respectfully. Okay, the enemy soldiers, what will happen when the enemy power loses, then the soldiers, everything becomes Shivaji Maharaj. So that territory, along with that the people. So even the enemy soldiers were being well treated and were given medication by Shivaji Maharaj. That means he was so by the rule. Okay, that was the policy what Shivaji Maharaj made. Even if it is an enemy soldier, you are supposed to dress their wounds around over there. Okay, that is why, to give respect to them, because they've surrendered themselves to ourselves now. Understood. This themselves and who have been captured, and even those who have been captured, those territories, those soldiers also have to be treated in a very respectful manner. Now this is where you find he was so caring even to the people who worked for his kingdom. That is not only the subjects, not only his common people around him, even the army people. He sought to the welfare of those people, of the army people too, the soldiers also. And if any of the soldiers died in the battlefield, then that family would be taken well care by Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, these are the major reasons why we call Shivaji Maharaj an ideal ruler. Okay, there are some more policies. We will look into that now. The next slide. Now we shall look the next point, a policy of tolerance. Maharaj had to struggle against his enemies, the Adil Shahi, the Mughals, and the Siddhis. They were Islamic powers. While Maharaj struggled against them, he considered the Muslims in the Swaraj as his own subjects. At the time of meeting with Afzal Khan, Siddhi Ibrahim was a trusted servant in his army. Siddhi Hilal was a Sardar in the army of Maharaja. Daulat Khan was an important officer in the navy of the Swaraj. Okay. Now the policy of tolerance around him means how tolerant he was towards the other religion too. Okay. Now here you find Maharaj. What were the major enemies of Shivaji Maharaj? The Adil Shahi, the Mughals, and the Siddhis. Okay. Now they all belong to the Islam religion. Okay. Now the Maharaj struggled against them. He considered the Muslims in his Swaraj as his own subject. Okay. Now he considered them as the enemy power, but in his own Swaraj, there were subjects who were Muslims. Okay, they were well taken care, and these subjects were well taken care, considered them as their own. Now, when during the time of meeting Afzal Khan, Siddhi Ibrahim was the faithful, trusted servant in his army. Shivaji's army. Trusted servant was who? Trusted servant was Siddhi Ibrahim. Siddhi Hilal was Sardar army. Siddhi Hilal was a Sardar in the army of Maharaj. Okay, that means he never discriminated anybody on the grounds of religion. Depending upon your valor, depending upon the campaign you have done, rewards would be granted. I told you in the same manner. Even in his army, he had the major Sardar. The Sardar in the army was who? Siddhi Hilal. Now he is also a Muslim. Shivaji never made any distinguish between religion. Okay, the subjects in his courts who were Muslim were his own people. Okay, just because Adil Shahi, the Mughals, the Siddhis, they all belong to Islam religion. So even the people in my court are my enemies. No, not that way. The subjects who were Muslims in his own Islam in his own court were his own people. Okay, that is what you find. The trusted servant was who? That was Siddhi Ibrahim, and the army Sardar, one of the army Sardar was Siddhi Halal. Okay, now Daulat Khan was an important officer in the navy of Swaraj. Okay, now Daulat Khan, again an Islam friend, Islam subject around over here. He was also an important officer in the navy. Navy is where? In the water bodies. Okay, soldiers on the water bodies. Next paragraph. Maharaj followed a tolerant religious policy. In the enemy territories that he conquered, he continued the facilities that had been given to the Muslim places of worship. His contemporary historian Kahif Khan writes about the tolerant religious policies of Maharaj. Shivaji had framed strict rules for his soldiers that during the campaigns they should not harm a mosque. If they came in possession of the copy of Holy Quran, they should hand over the same with reverence to a Muslim. Okay. Now, what you find over here? Why do we call Shivaji Maharaj an ideal ruler? Because now he was very tolerant in religious matters too. Okay, enemy territories, whenever enemy territories were attacked, okay, he saw to it that none of the mosque would be attacked. He made it clear to his soldiers that you are not supposed to attack any mosque. Okay, and now suppose in the campaign, okay, in the campaign, if you come across a holy book of the Muslim is Quran. Okay, if you come across a copy of Quran, it should be taken with great respect and handed over to a Muslim. Okay, now the Khalifa Kahif Khan writes about the tolerant policies of Shivaji Maharaj. One was that he gave strict rules to the soldiers. What was that? You're not supposed to attack any mosque. Second thing, in the campaign, if you come across a holy book, that is Quran, well, then you are supposed to hand it over to a with reverence. Reverence means with respect and with great, you hold a holy book with great respect, no, with great devotion. In the same manner, with the great devotion and great respect, that holy book, the Holy Quran, has to be submitted to handed over to a Muslim. Okay, now he followed the tolerant religious policy. That is, tolerant means he tolerated all religions policy, he respected all religions also. He never distinguished on the grounds of religion. That is why are we doing this chapter Shivaji and Ideal Ruler? Because he had a policy of tolerance even towards religious point of view. Okay, he treated all religion with equal respect and didn't show any distinguish. Point, the inspiration for freedom. The efforts that Maharaj made to establish the Swaraj have a special value. It is the value of freedom. He aimed at establishing and maintaining an independent and sovereign existence that did not accept the dominance of any other power. While struggling against the foreign powers, Maharaj inspired others too for freedom. When Chhatrasala, who was in the service of Mughals, came to see Maharaj, Maharaj inspired him to create an independent kingdom in Bundelkhand. Okay, now here you find inspiration for freedom. Shivaji Maharaj was a source of inspiration for many other rulers also to attain freedom. He tried level best to get his entire. He made the efforts of Maharaj made to establish Swaraj. Okay, now in my territory, in my kingdom, I am supposed to rule, and there is no dominance of any other ruling power. Okay, he aimed establishing and maintaining an independent and sovereign existence. Sovereign means free, independent, not dependent on any other people. Okay, independent and sovereign means free state for himself, existence, and not accepting any dominance or any power to rule over them. Okay, that is very important. Maharaj inspired others too to attain freedom. How he attained freedom? He freed the Swaraj from the Mughal power. Okay, and he attained freedom around over there. In the same manner, in the same manner, Shivaji Maharaj also helped others. For example, when Chhatrasala, he was in the service of the Mughals. Okay, when he came to see Maharaj, Maharaj said, "Say, Bundelkhand is very near to it, it is your territory. Why don't you make it free from the British clutches and make your independent kingdom around over there?" So, in this manner, he encouraged others also to attain freedom. That is why we call Shivaji Maharaj an ideal ruler. Okay. Now the next point, greatness of Maharaj's work. Okay, now that's a very big one. Now let us look why we call Shivaji Maharaj an ideal ruler. What was the greatness of his work? What great work did Shivaji Maharaj do? Okay, now Maharaj established Swaraj while fighting against many enemies. This is very clear to you all know how did Shivaji Maharaj attain Swaraj? He had to fight, he had to defeat many enemies. Okay, this action itself proves that he was a pioneer of a new era. Okay, pioneer of a new era over here means a person who is one who is the first one to settle in an area. Okay, now that is how you find here Shivaji Maharaj had played an important role. How did he proved that, for being in Maharashtra itself, he has made his dream was to make Swaraj, his vision was Swaraj, and he has attained Swaraj. Okay, it was a new era, it was a new beginning. Okay, but besides this action, many other noble qualities are found in his personalities. Other than these, there are many other noble qualities that we are seeing in Shivaji Maharaj. And what are they? Shivaji Maharaj was very intelligent. We all accept it. Okay, otherwise how would have he planned to attack? He always emphasized, gave importance to forts. Okay, because he knew how important forts are. That is why you come to know around him. He was very intelligent. Okay, now he had mastered many arts. He was conversant with many languages and scripts. Okay, he had mastered many arts. Mean it can be his mother taught him how to do the sword fighting. Okay, gave him proper good education, good learning, good sword fighting too. So that means a mother taught him and he learned. That is what he had. He had mastered many arts. Not only that, he was able to speak in many languages and even read different scripts also. Okay, that means he was given education. Wonderful education was given to him. The teachings of his parents towards the establishment of Swaraj and ethics were deeply instilled in his mind. His father, who wanted Swaraj but was unable, that the seeds of the Swaraj was sown to him by his mother, okay, from the childhood, and that is what made him to create, or it was instilled in his mind, means it was put in his mind from childhood, and that is what gave him the courage and the willpower to attain Swaraj. Now, there was a blend of character and strength. Okay, character means the way the person is, good, bad, how he treats others. That is said to be a character. And strength, he was great. He had great strength. Was healthy enough because he he did exercises. He had good food. He had good training. Coming up around over here. That is how you find he was. What is said over here? So look at the adjectives given over here: character and strength, nobility and valor. Valor is what? A good fighter. Okay, in his personality. He had innumerable qualities like leadership, management, foresight, political diplomacy, effective policy about regional and military administration, commitment to truth and justice, attitude of equality, visualization of future activities, the skill of seeing his planned ventures through, rising over the calamities without giving up, alertness, vigilance, and so on. Look at the qualities Shivaji Maharaj has called. Do we simply call him an ideal ruler? No, he had all these qualities imbibed in him. That is why he is called an ideal ruler. Okay, innumerable qualities: leadership, a leader will guide the entire people. Wonderful management. Foresight over here means what? To have a vision for the eyes. Okay, if we do this, then this may happen. Okay, in that manner, foresight. We have his aim was always Swaraj. For that is what is said around. Because of his foresight, he was able to attain Swaraj. Political diplomacy around over, he knew the political way, how to deal with people, how to control, how to manage and get things done. Effective policy about regional and military administration. Effective around over here means it was very effective. All his policies depending on the region as well as on military development or administration was very effective. Whatever policies he brought in, okay, people accepted it. It brought a great amount of change and betterment for the people and also for the Swaraj. Commitment to truth and justice, very important. Commitment, he was totally committed to truth and justice. That is what you find the qualities and values taught to him from the childhood, also from his mother. Okay, now attitude of equality, visualization of future activities. Attitude of equality, treating everybody equal. You find the policy of tolerance, where he didn't discriminate between Muslims and the Hindus. Okay, he respected them too. He gave the post depending upon their caliber also. Okay, now, your visualization of future activities means having a vision what is going to happen in the future. Okay, that is what visualization of future activities. uh, the skill of seeing his planned ventures through. A skill, that was a skill, he used to see that I am going to make Swaraj. So it was not a daydream for him, it was he will make. And in the front he saw Swaraj, and he planned out everything in a systematic manner, rising over the calamities without giving up. There were some wars which even Shivaji Maharaj lost, okay, the Swaraj, the Maratha power too lost, okay, but even when they lost, Shivaji Maharaj never gave up hope, okay, always rised up after each fall. Always, if he had a fall, he would rise up, okay. Alertness, vigilance, and so on. Alertness means alert, where from where the enemy is coming, attack is going to come, and where, okay. Now I will give you an example of visualization, like even when he had planned to go away from Agra, escape from Agra in the basket, okay, a basket of fruits around over there. He visualized, that means it went on for 3-4 weeks around over there. Then he knew the people will not check, he was aware of it. When the people didn't check, that is the time when Shivaji Maharaj exchanged and came in the basket and escaped, okay. Now vigilance is to be aware of what is right, what to be vigilant of things around you. He used to punish those severely who would misbehave with women. He used to take care of all sections of the society, like farmers, craftsmen, soldiers, traders, merchants, etc. Respect for women given very importance. Anybody ill-treating or misbehaving women, Shivaji Maharaj would punish them very severely. He took care of everybody, the seniors of the society, the farmers, the craftsmen, soldiers, traders. All his subjects was taken care by Shivaji Maharaj. He used to harbor the merchants. He used to harbor the same respect for people of other religion that he had for the people of his own religion. Very important. He harbored means he had same respect for other religion people what he had for his own people of the same religion, okay. Now he even established family bonds with them, okay. He even established family bonds with them. But he brought back into the Swadharma, their original religion. Persons who had converted to another religion through there was a opposition to such a reconversion at that time. Okay, that means Swadharma around over here means to come back to your own dharma. If somebody, even before Swaraj, even before Shivaji Maharaj ruled over, if somebody was forced to convert, change their religion around over there, he allowed them to come back to their own religion. Okay, now at that moment there were many voices which raised, but Shivaji Maharaj was able to tackle the problem and allow the people to come back to their own religion. At the time, there was opposition of religious grounds or to crossing the seas. Yet he built sea forts like Sindhudurga and created a navy. During the time when Shivaji Maharaj establishing Swaraj, there were many restrictions on ground on crossing the seas, crossing from one place to the other. Where that the only mode of transport was through ships or boats. Okay, so during the period of Shivaji Maharaj, there was many opposition regarding the crossing of the sea. But yet Shivaji Maharaj built sea forts, okay, that is sea fort like Sindhudurga, because if you built a fort around over, you will have the custody of entire surrounding area. This means that he had made preparation for countering foreign invasions that came from the sea. Okay, now this is a very good example that Shivaji Maharaj beforehand, foresighted, what you call, he was aware that the foreign invaders, the foreign traders, okay, who will come as traders, but they will invade the part of country. Okay, he was aware that they are going to come only through what way? They are going to come only through the sea route. Okay, that is why he made sea forts. Now he became the ruler of Swaraj officially through his coronation. He didn't become because his father died, so he became the king. No, he became through the process of coronation, the process through which he was being crowned as the Sardar. Okay. He later had a second coronation from a different religious perspective. All these actions show his revolutionary aspects in the field of religion. Okay, now he later on, after the coronation, he went on having the second coronation that was in a religious process. That shows how important the aspects of the field of religion was important in his life. Okay, now when there were threats to Swaraj, he would face them with or without his associates. Due to this, even his associates were ready to sacrifice their lives for Swaraj. Of course, his greatness was not confined to the quality of facing calamities bravely and fearlessly. He wanted to have an ethical, qualitative base to the Swaraj. That is why he would give orders even regarding minor issues along with the important ones. The order that prohibited soldiers from taking vegetables from the fields of the peasants by force is exemplary. From this point of view, the restrictions on the cutting of trees enforced by him are also noteworthy. Okay, now what do you find? All the threats, whatever came down to Swaraj, he would face it single-handed, or he may, along with him, he may take his associates also. Okay, now if comes the enemy is in the front, he will not look, okay, everybody all are ready about, all my associates came about. No, he will go ahead and he will fight. That is because of this nature, his associates were also ready to sacrifice their life for Swaraj. Okay, his greatness can be now for whenever there was facing calamities around over there, he bravely and fearlessly faced the calamities in his kingdom. Okay, he wanted to have an ethical, qualitative base to the Swaraj. That means whatever. Now that is why what you find ethical and qualitative base around over means there should be quality in whatever is being done in the kingdom. That is why whenever he gave any important points, even if the point was very small, very minute, okay, yet those would be said in the meeting, so that all these points are come from the king, so it has to be mandatorily being followed. Okay, now there are two examples given. He ordered that prohibited soldiers from taking he ordered that soldiers are not supposed to take any food grains from any peasant's farm. That is one, and that too by force. Clear? And the second point, exemplary point, is around over what he put the restriction on cutting down trees. Okay, enforced by Shivaji Maharaj, and that is something very noteworthy. That not to cut down it because they are going to give you shade. Only if tree is there, then only there will be water present, and only water is there, rainwater will come in. Okay, as the cycle continues around over here. Till here you are clear? These are the major things why Shivaji Maharaj is said to be an ideal ruler. Okay, dear boys. He had ordered that the garbage on the fort should be burnt in an allotted place without dumping it elsewhere, and vegetables should be grown on its ash. It becomes clear from this fact that he would pay close attention to the minutest details while establishing Swaraj. He was not just a warrior but also a sculptor who created a new, independent, ethical, and cultural society. His greatness is comprehensive. Okay, now what do you find over here? He gave orders. What was that? Garbage should be accumulated at one place and burnt in the allotted place. Means the place is being given where you have to burn the garbage. Only there you have to burn, and not accumulate it somewhere else. Okay. Now next around over here, and when you burn the garbage around over there, you will get ashes. On that ash, you are supposed to grow vegetables. Okay, he paid close attention to minutest of the minutest problem or in the concern of the people was being noted by Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, he was not just a warrior; he was a sculptor. Sculptor is who makes who makes sculptures. Okay, now who created a new independent. Now, that is what now he made entirely new. Why is he called a sculpture and a worker? Means the one who makes murtis. Okay, now why is he called? Because he created a new independent, ethical, and cultural society. That is why he is called an sculpture. His greatness is comprehensive. You have no words to compare it around. Wonderful. Okay, now today also you see, they burn the garbage. Okay, they burn it and together they make it. That was that was a policy during Shivaji Maharaj time. Which today also, if you go to look for we are also using it up. Okay, boys. So all these are the major works which Shivaji Maharaj had done. That is why he is said to be an ideal ruler. In our national movement, Maharaj was a great source of inspiration. In his struggle for equality, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule described in his Paudas the greatness of Shivaji Maharaj. Lokmanya Tilak brought about national awakening through the medium of Shivaji Jayanti celebration. Lala Lajpat Rai has written a book. Okay, boys. So, what you find over here in our national movement, there are three people names given over here. Mahatma Jyotirao Phule. Okay, Maharaj, great. He was a source of inspiration. You have Mahatma Jyotirao Phule in his Paudas. Paudas are small, small poetic verses. Okay. Now, in that he has greatly explained about Shivaji Maharaj, greatness of Shivaji Maharaj. Lokmanya Tilak, what did he do? He started Shivaji Jayanti. Okay, to bring awakening among the masses and bring people together for the struggle of freedom. Okay, now let us look what Lala Lajpat Rai has written in the book. Lala Lajpat Rai has written a book about the greatness of Maharaj. The great Tamil poet Subramanian Bharati has written a poem about about an imaginary incident in which Shivaji Maharaj talks to his associates. Now, what do you find? Tamil poet Subramaniam Bharati. Now, what has this poet written over here? Had written a poem about an imaginary, a poem which is an imagination, based on imagination, in which Shivaji Maharaj is talking to his associates. Okay. Now, the associates who were ready to sacrifice their life for Shivaji Maharaj. Vishwa Kavi Rabindranath Tagore has written a long poem on Maharaj. Okay, now Vishwa Kavi Rabindranath Tagore, what did he do? He has written a long poem about Shivaji Maharaj. Tagore sees his efforts to found Swaraj as efforts for realizing a noble cause. Now Tagore says that Shivaji Maharaj found a Swaraj. Okay, now that was actually a very noble cause. Okay, now Jagannath Sarkar has praised his achievements in his book Shivaji and His Times. Okay, Jagannath Sarkar, what has he done? He has given words of praises for Shivaji in his book Shivaji and His Times. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has said that Maharaj did not belong to Maharashtra alone, he belonged to the whole Indian nation. He was a symbol of many virtues, more especially of love of country. Okay, now our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, what has he said? He has said that Maharaj did not belong to only Maharashtra, but he belonged to the entire country, India. And what are the virtues he has given over here? Virtues especially of love of the country. Okay, he was ready to do anything for his country. That is what even the associates followed him. Got it? Now here you find Shivaji, all the famous people around over here explaining about Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, virtues of Shivaji Maharaj also. All Indian languages have works that talk about him as an ideal ruler and a source of inspiration. Okay, all Indian languages, whichever books you find, they will always praise Shivaji Maharaj in their own mother, in their own language. Okay, and it would be noted down. Got it? And that is why he is said to be an ideal ruler. Future generations will continue to look upon his work, this work of Shivaji Maharaj of founding the Swaraj and turning it into Swarajya as a source of inspiration. Now, what is it for the future generation? The act what Shivaji Maharaj did. What is that? He had a foresight of Swaraj and the inspiration to build it up around over there, which turned Swaraj into Surajya. This is going to be an inspiration for the coming generation. Okay, Shivaji Maharaj was a great national hero. He was not only an ideal ruler, but also he was a national hero for the people of Maharashtra as well as for the people of India. Okay, boys, understood everything? Any doubts? Any clarification? Okay, boys, I hope the lesson is understood by you. Now, my dear boys, pay attention to few instructions. You can use your old history notebook to write the answer. That means what you use for the first unit semester, the same book you can continue writing. Now, second, your third point, your notes I would be sending as a PDF. Now, the fourth point over here is that kindly note, my dear students, that if you have any doubt on the explanation given, you can ask your teacher when she comes live teaching for you. Okay, when this chapter she will be asking on any doubt, and if you have any doubt or clarification, you can always ask your subject teacher who is teaching history this year. Okay, boys, till here the the lesson is clear to you all. You all happy? Okay, kindly take care. Be safe, my dear boys.